Hey YouTube, it's DRC Mr. Strawberry here. I'm here to give you a follow-up video about this new NFT rail system I built. And as you can tell, it looks like we're doing pretty good. I would have followed up sooner, but you know, just kind of tweaking as I go. My pump kind of lost some pressure over the past few weeks, so I went in there today and I fixed some things, and you know, just making little adjustments along the way. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with the turnout, even though I don't have every rail completely filled here. But that's okay though. That's what this is all about. I'm trying to learn. And what's an experiment without variables? So let's get a closer look. And I think from the last video, I didn't have anything transplanted yet. I transplanted everything on May 26th. It is now June 26th, so we're starting the 5th week. And yeah, I started with a bunch of strawberries, but you know, I didn't have any means of pest control. So these two, this was a pine berry, and that was the only one that made it in my previous grow, and that ended up dying. And then this one died too. There was another one somewhere. Yeah, it was right there. But I think earwigs got into this, so I didn't have any pest management. I noticed like a lot of the fruit had holes in it, so clearly it was getting infested. But luckily these last three seem to be doing okay. And right off the bat, I had lost 2 whole rails. Luckily, the second rail here, I was able to propagate the runners into the next rail down, and lo and behold, they're rooting. So that's pretty exciting. We'll hopefully get another run of berries here by the end of the season. This here, a little branch broke off of one of the tomato plants, so we're seeing if we can clone it. I'm not getting my hopes up on that one. Alright, well, here's probably the most impressive rail I have. It's the tomatoes, and they just started flowering. You can see right there. I mean, these guys are huge. And I'm trying to train some of the lower branches to go under the PVC, some of them go under the next rail, so I can maybe get a little bit more yield by spreading the branches out, but we'll see how that turns out. And then this little sucker ended up being a survivor in the tray that just got neglected. After I transplanted everything, I just let it sit and, you know, let everything else that could have survived just die. And this guy surprisingly made it through. This rail, when I initially lost pressure on my pump, I had to shut it down entirely, but luckily, you know, this rail already had a bunch of dead seedlings in it, so you know, it really wasn't a total net loss since it was already a loss. The great thing about this system is that, you know, in such a situation, I have enough valves on here, I can redistribute the pressure. So if, you know, I lose pressure suddenly one day, which is what happened up here once, I was not getting any water. Since this one was already down, I just shut it off and I kind of tweaked everything else, and sure enough, I got the pressure built back up. But then just a few weeks ago, I lost a little bit more pressure, so I had to go into the pump and see what was going on. We'll get to that here in a second, but here's the bottom rail. I got a decent looking pepper plant that's starting to flower. Tiny cilantros, some chives. And this guy was like a makeshift. I originally did have a pepper plant here, but the wind took the stalk and just basically broke it right in half. So I went to Menards and they had half off, you know, all the stuff. So I said, screw it, let's try and convert this soil guy into a hydroponic. So I literally just did this last night. We'll see how that turns out. Hopefully I can make it a better plant than what it was. Another big alteration I did was, if you remember from the original video, these were exposed, creating an algae problem. As maybe you can see in there, kind of see where the algae was originally forming, but I pretty much put a stop to that with this simple fix. It was probably the best thing I could have ever done, you know, because it still allows easy access in here to make sure you're getting water flow and everything's going all right. The cool thing about this is that if I need to change the water level in here, say these roots are getting really big, I want to lower the water level, all I have to do is take this coupler out and boom, lower the water level. And that's like this on every single one. So every single one has a different water level in it. And this is surprisingly a piece of plastic I had laying around, and I had to buy some Velcro, but this made a very easy solution to a possibly big problem. Now if we move further, I don't know if you can remember too much from the last video, but that valve right there never used to be there. I figured I'd run into this problem eventually, and since I was losing pressure in the pump, I had to take it out today. I had a paint filter around it to stop particulate matter from going in. If anything, that actually created more problems. So I had to go in there today, take the pump out. I cleaned the filter and underneath it, got the gunk out. It seems that I do have a little bit more pressure. I don't think I have quite enough to open up a fourth rail anyways, so I think inevitably I'm going to have to upgrade the pump and put something a little bit more efficient and better in there. I hear DC water pumps are pretty good for that. But another really neat feature of this system is I have a built-in air pump essentially. It's called a Venturi. Basically, you got water coming up from the pump up through here. And then this, you know, this, if I need to shut it off, I can just shut it off, and control the amount of air coming down. It comes through here, and as the water's coming down, it's pulling air out into the system, creating aeration. So you can see, we're getting plenty of aeration, needing one less pump for your system, so you're not running any more electricity than you need to. And yeah, since it's such a problem to try and get into this reservoir the way I have it set up, figured today, as I had to get the pump out, I would add this valve so I can shut the valve off, and if I need to evacuate all this water, say something gets compromised and I need to get the water out, all I got to do is shut that off, take this little tube off and like put a little like elbow in it, put that tube back on and just evacuate it into, you know, out in the yard or wherever I can put it. So yeah, that is the basics of my system. I hope everybody out there really enjoys what you've seen today. I mean, I'm pretty damn proud of myself for just kind of pulling this out of my head and making it actually happen. Obviously, this isn't an original idea. There are other people out there with rail systems. I used a myriad of other people's videos and ideas. Once I go back and look, I'll put credit for some of you guys that's helped me along the way to, you know, help me make better decisions for this system. And so far, I'm pretty damn happy with the turn, and I hope all of you are too. As an extra bonus, I wanted to show you a great way to reduce, or how I've reduced my water cost almost immediately, and have better quality water. It's better pH. It's got less stuff in it, so when you mix your hydroponic solution, you can get it right down to the T. So I got these rain barrels from the Let Go app, and I got them at a steal. I paid 65 bucks for both of those, plus the cinder blocks, plus all the little, you know, extensions and spigots that came with it, and I only had to buy a few extra things like the sand and the rock and, you know, a little valve here so when they're full I can turn it off and it won't overflow. But yeah, if anybody has an outdoor system or does a lot of gardening and they don't, you know, and it shouldn't be, if it isn't obvious by this point, you should definitely have at least one rain barrel to use. This system uses a lot of water. It loses a lot to evaporation during the summer, and you know, it's just kind of nice to not have to run my water bill up from my spigot on my house, and I generally get a better water source for it, and it's free. I think that's all I really got for you today. If anybody has any suggestions, tips, critiques, or you know, if you just want to say hi, please do comment. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try and keep growing it just like I'm growing these plants, and hopefully we'll see you again here in a few weeks. Thank you.